Ever tried to step into something new, start a business, post your work online, confess your feelings, only to hear that tiny voice in your head say, "Who do you think you are?" That's your inner critic speaking. And sometimes it feels louder than the world itself. And for most of us, it has more control over our lives than we care to admit. I remember the first time I caught mine in action. It was right before my content creation journey began. Before I ever started creating content, I had zero knowledge about the field. Video editing, thumbnails, storytelling, these things were foreign to me. The thought of learning video editing from scratch felt heavy and off-putting. I could hear my inner critic whispering, "That's too much. You're going to waste so much time. Why bother?" Even when I started watching tutorial videos, I could barely practice. I'd feel sleepy most days and convince myself I'd try again tomorrow. Then one afternoon, something in me snapped. I picked up my laptop, ignored the voice, and started practicing. Slowly, painfully, but I started. And that one small step turned into the journey that led me here. That's the thing about the inner critic. It's always there, whispering, questioning, holding you back, or trying to keep you safe. The birth of the inner critic. This is what you need to know. That voice in your head isn't random. It was born from somewhere. Maybe from childhood, when you were told to play it safe. Maybe from the memory of a failure that embarrassed you. Or maybe from society's constant comparisons and highlight reels, which make you feel like you're always behind. Your inner critic is like an overprotective security guard. Its job is to keep you from danger. The problem is, it doesn't know the difference between danger and growth. It will scream, "Don't do it," when all you're trying to do is step into a bigger version of yourself. Does that make your inner critic a friend or a foe? Here's the thing, your inner critic is both. As a foe, it paralyzes you. It keeps you stuck replaying doubts, whispering that you'll fail before you even start. As a friend, it can sharpen you. It can make you double-check your work, think through your moves, and prepare better. The problem comes when you let it become your judge instead of your advisor. Left unchecked, it doesn't just keep you safe, it keeps you small. Listen to the real damage it does. If you think your inner critic is harmless, look at your own life. How many opportunities have you let slide because of that voice? That job you didn't apply for because you weren't ready. That talent you buried because you feared people would laugh. That message you typed out but deleted because you thought, "Who do you think you are?" Your inner critic steals quietly. It convinces you that not trying is better than failing. But the real regret comes later, when you realize that the only person who stopped you was you. So, here's how to befriend your inner critic full-time. 3 steps that can change how you see that voice forever. First, naming the voice. One way to unmask your inner critic is to name it. Start noticing when your inner critic speaks. Is it fear, doubt, protection? Most times, it's trying to keep you safe, not destroy you. I sometimes say to myself, there you are again. Thanks for the warning, but I'm doing this anyway. See, when you separate yourself from that voice, you realize it's not truth. It's just fear dressed as wisdom. And once you see it, you can start moving past it. Next, test it with small actions. Your inner critic thrives on inaction. The best way to silence it is to act, even in tiny steps. Remember my editing story? That one afternoon, I finally practiced. Something shifted. It wasn't magic. I just proved to myself that I could. The voice got quieter because I'd given it evidence it couldn't argue with. You don't need to leap, just move. Take the smallest step that says, "I'm not backing down today." Your inner critic quiets down when it sees evidence of progress. You don't need to conquer the whole mountain. Just take the first step. And finally, let it prepare you, not paralyze you. Instead of taking every negative thought as truth, ask, "Why do I feel this?" Or "What am I afraid of?" This turns fear into insight. Here's a secret. The inner critic can actually be useful if you flip the script. When it says, "You're not ready," respond with, "All right, then what would make me ready?" Suddenly, the same voice that paralyzed you becomes a guide. It makes you rehearse, refine, and improve but it doesn't get the last word. Here's what you need to understand. Your inner critic will never disappear completely, and maybe that's a good thing. But the goal isn't to kill it. The goal is to unmask it and choose who's in charge. Every time you take a step despite that voice, you reclaim a piece of your life. Because here's the truth. Life only rewards the steps you take, not the arguments you win in your head.